What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol BBIG for Vinco Ventures. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, it's been a very long time since we've talked about this stock. I think it's worth clearing the drawing set starting from scratch. The reason I show you guys that is to let you know that it is okay to start your analysis from scratch. Sometimes it's a good thing to see the chart through a fresh lens. So, all things considered, big gap down here from the past earnings cycle that was before the bell during today's session, and we certainly saw some downside follow through during the day's session, closing relatively weak down towards the lows. Also note that volume did increase on this move lower, so to me it would indicate that these people up here, all of this overhead supply, is kind of waving the white flag, if you will, bailing on the position. More people are selling than buying. People aren't seeing this as a good deal as of right now, so all things considered, not looking too attractive to the upside. So let's start off by just at least giving ourselves a new daily roadmap, just obvious areas of support and resistance. Certainly the gap overhead is noteworthy. Today's low is noteworthy. And then I'm going to scrunch the chart up, see what we have from history in terms of supports underneath us. So not a whole lot, to be quite honest with you, until we get back down towards 222. Notice that we have touch in here, produced a bounce. This one, obviously, the big move happened from there. So 222 is really the next number to be paying attention to. Zooming back into the chart in some more recent history, I would also just add this as something to monitor for. I'm not saying it'll be in play immediately, but we do have a resistance trend line in play. So taking a closer look at the 30-minute, what can we sort of talk about from today's session? Certainly a failed move higher, right? It did try to go higher and start to fill the gap when the bell rang, but obviously the sellers took control, pushed it lower. So we're going to take out the fibs from the high all the way down to the low. What you'll notice is that we made a small attempt at the very end of day here to try to rally into the close, but I really feel as though that's more short covering, short-term short covering, that is, instead of meaningful buying. You can also see in terms of volume, it's just kind of on par or average with what we saw throughout the day. So we're not reading into that too much. We never made it to the 38.2. Obviously, the market closed, so we wouldn't be able to tell if we did or not. We're not going to, I guess we can look at the post market, right, and do something like this. What you'll notice kind of failed, never really made it to that 38.2. So I'm still going to call that a bearish close, even with the small consolidation and continuation into the post market. Obviously, doesn't mean as much as the regular trading hour session. So in terms of scenarios, bearish consolidation happens here underneath 322. Breakdown of 3 the whole dollar takes us closer to that 222 target, which we just pointed out from the daily. If we can recapture the 38.2, this is where you got to be careful, because what you'll notice is that the opening drive low is at the 50% mark. That's going to act as overhead resistance for anyone who sort of tried to buy the dip, quote unquote, early on today's session. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and throw a couple levels on here, then we'll clean up the fibs, make this easier on the eyes, talk in terms of scenarios. So again, bearish consolidation here, breakdown takes you lower, break to here. I would look for a consolidation like that. Maybe, again, very, very speculative here, 30-minute bull flag forms, a break takes you back higher into 357, but that's kind of pushing it in the face of a gap down, and then more continuation and closing fairly weak. So that's the only reason I could see a long trade. If it pans out, then fantastic. You can monitor for that and then monitor for continuation, ultimately looking for here and then the gap to fill overhead at 378. Ultimately, though, trying to buck this downtrend, probably would advise against it and just staying away from BBIG. The only real sentiment shift in my estimation, and I would imagine this takes quite a bit of time to pan out, would be if we can break this resistance trend line here. If for some reason we can break that and start to build a new uptrend, fine, it comes back on the radar, but as of right now, not looking too attractive in Vinco Ventures. That's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.